We're here at Phillips Park with Metea Valley Boys Golf Coach Pat Brusveen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, you have an interesting path to Metea Valley. You've been in the area for quite some time. Can you just talk about where you came from and how you got here?
Yeah, so I went to high school at Neuqua Valley. Basketball was my main sport there. After college, I kind of bounced around a couple different places, but I kind of found a home the last 7 years ago when Metea Valley opened up. And I started helping out with the golf team from the first year that it started with Ryan Hall, and I've been there ever since, and I've loved every minute of it so far.
Going from a player to now a coach, staying in the same area to an extent, how have you been able to relate that to the kids now that you're coaching?
I think it helps because I do know the area. I've played these courses. I know where we're going. I haven't played them as well as some of our players play them, but I do play them.
Sure.
So that's helped. It also helps knowing kind of just the area in terms of the dynamics of the student athlete that you get, things like that. So I think it's been really beneficial to be around this area since my high school career has ended.
You've been a part of the system since the beginning, but now you finally get your chance to take over and mold it the way you want to. How do you feel about what you have right now and where this program is going?
I think Ryan Hall, who started the program and was the first varsity coach, did an awesome job starting from the ground floor. I'm hoping just to continue what he started, maybe put a little bit of my signature on it also, but the team camaraderie, the working together, the honor that they play with right now, I'm hoping to keep that going. I'd like to add some sort of additional things to where the golf program becomes a program that's not just something you participate in for 4 years, but I'm hoping that 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the road, some of these golfers that have played for us or played at Metea want to come back and they want to be a part of the tryout process. They want to be a part of just the Metea Valley program. I think that's something that's valuable to the student athlete currently, and I think it's something that will be valuable to the future student athletes from the past ones.
One of those players that you have on your team that is a golfer that has more than just high school experience is David Lepanto. You know, he's been playing since he was a child. How do you look at him and for leadership? Where do you go to talk to him?
Yeah, David's been a varsity player now. This is his 4th year, so this is the first year. There's been always a good senior or two kind of that took that leadership role, and David is now the senior leader, and we're expecting obviously big things in terms of him scoring wise, but we're also expecting maturity from him on the golf course, helping others, showing the younger guys how it's done. He's great to be able to talk to about the game of golf because he thinks the game of golf and he knows what he needs to work on. It's a very quick conversation and short, and I'm working on this, I'm ready to go, here's what I'm going to do to improve that. And the hope is that these freshmen and sophomores and juniors and these new golfers see that, and they're able to take kind of his mental approach to the game and see understanding their game, and when they can kind of find their faults and attack them the way that he does, I think that's beneficial for everybody, the program and them as individuals as well.
So as somewhat of an individual sport, he's been able to kind of give that team mentality to Metea Valley.
Yeah, he has, and I think all of our seniors and all of our guys that have been around for a while have done that. They know their individual skill, they know their individual strengths and weaknesses. They share tips, drills, things with the younger guys who are brand new. Some of the golfers have never really played much competitively at all, so they're able to kind of shed that knowledge with them, while at the same time saying, yeah, we're all working individually, but we're all working towards one team goal of moving forward in each individual tournament or conference or regional sectional, etc.
I guess playing off of that, as a young program still, what is, I guess, the goals that you've set for your team and for yourself as a coach?
My goals for me first as a coach is I want the student athletes to have fun, enjoy their time, and be as successful as they possibly can be. I want to hopefully guide them and give them some additional knowledge or help that they can to become as good as they possibly can be with whatever that they're trying to do. As far as team goals, I'm not big into sitting down and saying we need to win this or do this to have a successful season. I think that puts too much pressure on people to do certain things, and it also at the same time, if you don't achieve those certain goals, I don't want people to look back and say things were a failure. However, we talk weekly, daily things on what we're looking to accomplish in the near term, hoping that if we accomplish short, near-term goals of getting better at this, improving on this, winning this, whatever it ends up being, hopefully those kind of snowball into longer term goals that I think everybody kind of has, but not necessarily want to put in pen to paper on.
You moved to the DVC now, so you're going to see different golfers, different teams, better players, better teams. How do you get your players and your teams ready for that sort of thing?
I think it's a great thing, first of all, that we're moving to the DVC. It's all the schools within our area, all the schools the same size, and athletic programs that have a great history. So for us as a new school to be able to be put into that conference and be able to compete there is awesome. The idea of how do we get that just comes from repetition, practice, and success in competition. If we're competing every day in what we do, whether it's a putting competition or a drill, kind of building that mentality of yeah, it's a competition. There's not going to be as many schools out there where we can play poorly and still find success at the end of the day. So because golf is such an individualized sport, you can lead or leave the day of and realize, hey, I got better today, or I am better, or I shot better today. So that can kind of hope to build that confidence and build that competition within the individual that hopefully leads to team competition.
With some of the younger players that you have on your team, what has been the toughest thing to teach the kid, whether it's mentally or physically out on the course?
The hardest part to teach the younger, the newer freshman, sophomore golfers is the fact that they're kind of out there on their own, that they're used to all sports where they've got a coach telling them what play they're running or what they're supposed to do in this situation, and trying to get them into the mentality of figuring out themselves what they're doing wrong, or trying to look inside and say, you know what, I'm hitting the ball right with this, I need to do this, or ditch this club, or whatever it ends up being. Because most of the time younger golfers just kind of show up, swing the club, and see what happens. And then 9 holes later it's over and they say, what happened? So the better golfers are able to stop 2 holes in and say, okay, let's take a look at what's going on here and let's make an adjustment. And that's something that David and our older golfers are able to do. We've seen that when we play different courses where they put a club, they swing a lot, they put it in the bag for a while and say, this is not necessary to swing this club as much today, or what have you. So just kind of the mental analysis of themselves as they play the game is probably the hardest part for the younger golfer.
How has that, I guess then, for the younger golfers, how has this game of golf helped them mature as they get into adulthood, through high school? And how have you been able to, help them along the way, I guess?
I think it's great because they are able to, as I said, self-evaluate. And your life is going to be about self-evaluation. You're not always going to have someone telling you what you should, can't, shouldn't do. It's going to be, this went wrong, how do I fix it? And golf is such a mental game. As much as it is physical and talent, there's so much mental to it that the best golfers are able to sit down and sit back and say, okay, what's the problem? What's my solution? How am I going to get to where I want to get to? And I think that carries over into really the classroom and into anything in life, that if you can self-evaluate what you're doing correct and incorrect, you're going to be more successful.
Well, Coach, unfortunately, this is about as much time as we have today, but I want to thank you for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.
All right.